53. And the eagle, the lands where Martin and Malcolm were crucified. The eagle, where the young eagle sucked the blood of the slain. 39:30, Job. 39:30 in the book of Job, and divided in half is 1965. There are two eagles in prophecy. One is America, and the other national symbol is Ghana. Ghana's national symbol is the eagle, the lands of redemption, the lands where the African was taken out into captivity, and the lands in which they will return. The cross is a symbol of the captivity, as demonstrated in the book of Ezekiel, 4th chapter, the coming captivity of Jerusalem. Coming from Jerusalem, those African Hebrews marched across the Sahara, down to West Africa, and as far as South Africa as well. That's why the Ga and the Ewe make reference to themselves as Hebrew Israelites. The color of the African Hebrew Israelites match the Ga and Ewe. So why aren't there images on the cross? The black Christ on the cross. Because we were the ones who were persecuted. But again, the great transformation. The first have become last, but the last shall become first. The story, as the story reads, the spiritual balance of power that we had was in Jerusalem, Africa, but it shifted to Rome, and the images were changed, but it's coming back to Africa, the great spiritual balance of power. And it's coming about because we're going to understand the power of the cross. It has served the interest of the pale fox civilization to have the pale fox up on the cross, the imposter. It has suited his hegemony of the entire world and his seizure of lands and the wealth of other countries through his use of his Christ on the cross. But now the change is about to take place. The spiritual balance of power brought through truth. Not something that I invented, but something that's already been recorded in the Bible, preordained and predestined history, which is provable through the science of numbers. And if you can't prove the cross through numbers, don't use words, lest it will lose its effect, just as it's written. And so the cross has different representations. This is the other depiction of the cross, going all the way back to ancient Egypt and before then Ethiopia as well. The cross, and this is a circle sitting upon the last letter in the Hebrew alphabet, which is the Tav. And the Tav in Hebrew, the last letter, Tav, has a numerical value of 400, and it is the 22nd letter in the Hebrew. And this number, 422, tells us something very important. In the book of Genesis, 40th chapter, 40 and 22, it speaks of hanging on a tree. So this is a symbol of the cross, crucifixion, hanging on a tree. This is a symbol of death and also of resurrection. The Ankh. The Ankh was held in the hands of many pharaohs and many images as a symbol of life and death. Hanging on a tree, 40 and 22, 400. And so it is that in the book of Isaiah, 40 and 22, 40, 22, Isaiah speaks of it is he that sits on the circle of the earth. Isaiah 40 and 22, he that sits on the circle of the earth. And so it is that this is a globe, prime meridian and equator. And what's at the center of the earth, the heart of the earth, is Ghana. Ghana, the lands of the second eagle and the messianic rise, the location of the messianic rise that's going to take place. And it prime meridian, which connects Ghana to London. London is the location where Marcus Garvey died at the age of 53. And Marcus Garvey is the author of the Black Star Shipping Line. The Black Star Shipping Line. And it's his philosophies and his ideas which spoke of black economic independence, which spoke of the return of Africans back to Africa, that Dr. Nkrumah embraced. And he immortalized the Black Star Shipping Line by placing it at the center of the Ghanaian flag, which we have today, which is recorded in my book, as you see in the cover design. The flag. The Black Star is derived from Marcus Garvey's Black Star Shipping Company. And London, the location of Marcus Garvey, is on the prime meridian, the Greenwich line. Greenwich is a suburb of London. And London is the location of Marcus Garvey's death in the year 1940. And so it is. This line is also referenced in the Bible as the plumb line, Zerubbabel's plumb line. A plumb line, meaning that in order to be a carpenter, you need a plumb line to make something straight. Straight line, the plumb line. And that plumb line is this prime meridian. This is the language of the prophecy, geographic. That's why I say I'm a scientist of the Bible and the Quran. The Bible, science in the Quran and Bible consists of geography, physics, chemistry, and of course mathematical equations, as I've demonstrated just a few simple ones to you to prove the point. This is also known as Ezekiel's wheel in the first chapter of Ezekiel, the wheel with 7 eyes. 7 eyes. Ezekiel's wheel. Okay? And so it's at this point, 400 is the value of the letter Tav. And what's the significance of 400? 400 is Abraham's vision in the book of Genesis, 15th chapter, the 13th verse. 15th chapter and the 13th verse. And this is the Creator speaking to Abraham. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourner in a land that is not theirs. You see, there's no such thing as a black American. It is stated that we will be strangers in a land not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. So we're going into a captivity, and we will serve for 400 years. And most people relate this story as the time period of the Hebrews and Joseph's period in ancient Egypt. But the parallels have to do with the present. The application has to do with the present. 400 years. And in the year 2007, the Queen of England, the same colonizer to Ghana, visited America in a place called Jamestown, Virginia. In Jamestown, there's one right here in Accra, in Ghana, Jamestown Port, which was a slave port. And so it's linked to Jamestown, Virginia, where the first settlement in America commemorated its 400-year anniversary. And the Queen of England was present. This is the second visit. First one was in 1957, the first time when Ghana gained its independence. She was in Jamestown, Virginia, celebrating Jamestown, Virginia's 350th anniversary at the time. And so in the year 2007, the Queen of England returned to Jamestown, Virginia to celebrate its 400-year anniversary. And 400 agrees precisely with Abraham's vision, that his seed would be carried into a land not theirs, serve and be afflicted 400 years. In 2007, what else transpired? Well, a man named Hussein Barack Obama announced his candidacy for president in the year 2007. I believe it was February. And so that event was most telling and significant because I knew that prophecies were being fulfilled.